Hi, friends. Rich people think differently than poor people. That's just a fact. And if you want to become rich yourself, you need to start thinking like the rich do. Now, this is something that I have personally discovered after having spoken with over 150 millionaires and billionaires, as well as studying the psychology of wealth with some of the best in the world. The reality is that rich people think differently because they operate from a completely different set of beliefs and values. They live by a different code. It's almost like they play a different game altogether. But the good news is that anyone can learn how to think like the rich do. Now, there are so many things that I could share with you, but today we'll cover 4 core mental shifts that separate the rich from the poor. No. 1. They understand that money isn't everything. See, most people trade their time for money. The typical 9-to-5 worker spends years trading his or her time for a paycheck. And this is a perfectly fine way to live if all you care about is making enough money to pay the bills and put food on the table. However, if you want to become rich, you have to stop trading your time for money. You have to find a way to make money work for you instead. So, here's where it gets interesting. Rich people don't really think of themselves as working for money. Instead, they think of themselves as building assets. See, assets are anything that puts money in your pocket. Investments, businesses, stocks, bonds, real estate, intellectual property, all of these things are assets because they generate income without you having to trade your time for it. Now, it doesn't mean that they don't work hard. In fact, most ultra-wealthy people I know work extremely hard when they are building their assets. But once the assets are in place, they start generating income even while they sleep. For example, one of my rental properties makes around $1,800 per month in net operating income, and I didn't have to do anything to make that happen. My property manager took care of everything from collecting rent to making sure the property is always occupied, and that income hits my bank account every single month whether I work or I don't. This is the power of building assets, and it's something that everyone can do, no matter where you start. Now, the truth is that rich people often think about money in terms of assets and cash flow rather than income and expenses. They look at how much money an asset can bring in and what kind of return it generates. And this is an important mental shift that can help you become rich. If you start thinking of yourself as an investor first and foremost, you will naturally start looking for ways to invest your money instead of spending it. When you invest your money, you are putting it to work for you. You are using other people's money to buy assets that will generate more money in the future. No. 2. They prioritize their time. Most people prioritize money over time. They believe that if they work harder and longer hours, they will eventually make more money. However, this is not true. There is a limit to how much you can work and still maintain a healthy lifestyle. Rich people know this. They prioritize their time over money. I remember reading somewhere that the rich only do things that double their money. And I thought that was brilliant. Let me explain why. When you double your money, you are increasing your net worth by 100%. On the other hand, when you spend money, you are decreasing your net worth by 100%. So why risk losing 100% of your net worth when you can increase it by 100%? Well, the answer is leverage. As we just mentioned earlier, leverage allows us to increase our net worth without risking 100% of it. When we invest in stocks, for example, we are borrowing money from the stock market itself. We are leveraging the money of others to increase our own net worth. Of course, there is always risk involved, but that is why it is so important to be selective with our investments and to diversify as much as possible. 3. They think big. Most people are afraid to fail. They think that failure is something to avoid at all costs. But here is the truth. Failure is a necessary part of success. If you want to achieve something that has never been done before, you must be willing to do things that have never been done before. And that means taking risks. It means stepping outside of your comfort zone and doing things that scare you. But here's the thing, most people are not willing to do that. They are too afraid of failing. They would rather play it safe and live a life of mediocrity than take a risk and pursue their dreams. But rich people are not like that. They are willing to take risks. They are willing to step outside of their comfort zone and do things that scare them because they know that failure is just another excuse to learn and grow. They believe that failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is part of success. Rich people also think big. They are not satisfied with the status quo. They are always looking for ways to improve and grow. They have a never-ending curiosity, and they are always learning new things. They read books. They attend seminars, and they surround themselves with other high achievers. For they are disciplined. Discipline is what separates winners from losers. It is the ability to delay gratification and focus on what is important. Poor people lack discipline. They are impulsive and they do things on a whim. But rich people are disciplined. They know that if they want to achieve something great, it will require sacrifice and hard work, and they are willing to make those sacrifices. Rich people also have a strong sense of self-awareness. They know their strengths and weaknesses, and they play to their strengths. They also know how to manage their emotions, and they don't let their emotions control them. Poor people, on the other hand, are often ruled by their emotions. They act out of anger, resentment, and bitterness. But rich people are not like that. They are calm and rational. They think clearly, and they make smart decisions. In conclusion, rich people think differently than poor people. They think like winners. They are disciplined, focused, and determined. They are not afraid of failure, and they are willing to take risks. They prioritize their time and money, and they think big. If you want to become rich, you need to start thinking like the rich do. Adopt their mindset and start seeing yourself as a winner. Start focusing on what is important and start taking action towards your goals. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Thank you for watching.